Hey guys, NASCAR Mobile 48 back again, back to another episode. In today's video, we're going to be talking about something that just released today, NASCAR's new rule changes for the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series season. Yes, around this time of year, I should have my predictions video out, but don't worry, that should be coming out later this week, maybe even this Saturday. I just wanted to talk about this because this just hit today, and I want to give you guys my reaction to the 2023 rules. And I have there's a lot of positive, but there's a little bit of negative, so we're just going to take it one by one, and then I'll give my reaction to it after I talk about each one. So without further ado, let's take a look at the first rule change for 2023. So the first rule change is, of course, NASCAR has officially announced that there will be no road course stage breaks, and oh my goodness, this is definitely a positive. There has been a rumor since about like the November 21st, November 30th, somewhere around late November during Thanksgiving break, where this was a possibility that this rule change would be in effect, and it has come true today, about like 2 months after it was rumored. So that means that the stage points will still be awarded, but there will be no break in the racing. NASCAR says that this change is to improve the pit strategy scenario, so this is good because we know how the stage breaks can be on a road course. It's gonna drag on for a while, it's gonna take forever, it's gonna get boring and stuff, and it's gonna just take a while before they can get to the second stage or the third stage or stuff. So that is something good that we're taking away the stage break. So I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is that once they take the green and white checkered for the stage and they award all the stage points, they're going to keep going, keep racing. So that's actually going to be pretty good. So this change will impact the races at the Roval, COTA, Sonoma, Chicago Street Course, and the Indy Road Course. But the tracks that have races in NASCAR but not the Cup Series, just the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, will not have these road course stage breaks. So those tracks would be Mid-Ohio, Portland, and Road America. And I guess it kind of makes sense because those races, they're not really live pit stops, and I think they regain their position after they're done pitting. I think that's in the Truck Series. I don't think it's like that in the Xfinity Series. So I'm not really sure, but that's what we've heard. So rule changes, so thank goodness. So we will see this in effect at the first road course race at COTA, which I will be there again for the third year in a row, so cannot wait. So it'll be active at 5 road course races: the Roval, COTA, Sonoma, Chicago Street Course, and Indianapolis road course. I think one road course that is missing is Watkins Glen, so I don't know if that's a mistake. I think it will be in effect in Watkins Glen. I'm not really sure. It just doesn't say off the article that I saw this morning. But anyway, that's one of the new rules, so it's a positive. I'm happy for this. It's something that we've been waiting for a while now, and I'm glad it's in effect. So now let's move on to the next rule change. Now moving on to one of the most controversial rules was Ross Chastain's wall ride. NASCAR has made it official that the Ross Chastain rule has been closed. No one can ever repeat this ever again. If this is repeated at another short track or just anywhere, then they will receive a time penalty. So yes, we all know what happened. Chastain made a valiant effort on the wall ride to gain his way into the Championship 4. It was a really good advantage and stuff, and so it was just another gateway in order to do what you got to do to make the Championship 4. But NASCAR did not really like this. In fact, Kyle Larson himself said he was embarrassed by this for NASCAR when Ross Chastain pulled that move, even though Larson nearly did the same thing at Darlington in 2021, and he somehow said it's kind of different. Whatever, Larson. Anyway, back to Chastain. It was a valiant effort, but NASCAR did state that they have a time penalty in place for any action that risks safety, such as what Chastain did. And in fact, one of the NASCAR rules states this: safety is a top priority for NASCAR and NEM, NASCAR Event Management. Therefore, any violations deemed to compromise the safety of an event or otherwise pose a dangerous risk to the safety of competitors, officials, spectators, or others are treated with the highest degree of seriousness. Safety violations will be handled on a case-by-case basis. So yes, this is definitely gonna involve safety, because Chastain even said that when he did that wall ride, it kind of hurt, and so I'm surprised he didn't suffer like some sort of concussion, because you're just wall riding. That must hurt, especially with these cars that's injured 3-4 drivers, so you really got to be careful. And besides, Chastain even said that he wouldn't attempt like anything like this in the future. And even I think Dave Burns asked him this at the end of the Championship 4 race after he lost to Joey Logano, is that why didn't you try to wall ride? And Chastain said the mature thing, said like it wasn't worth the risk and stuff. So it's good on him for not attempting to do that. But we all knew that after this wall ride thing happened, in late March that not late March, late October, that we knew NASCAR was going to say something about this, about making this a rule, and they finally did, because it can endanger the driver himself and damage your own vehicle, and it's actually technically but I don't think NASCAR said anything about this rule about gaining an advantage or something about safety. So nothing about gaining an advantage. It's not cheating. It's fair, but they just don't want it to happen again because they don't want to risk injury and stuff. So that's actually a good rule. I commend NASCAR on that. Because I'm not really disappointed in this controversial rule, because I knew it was going to happen, and I completely agree with NASCAR, because I don't want to see a driver get hurt trying to risk it for the biscuit and do all that crap. But anyway, that's one of the other rules, chastity rule in effect. I also agree with this one. Now let's move on to the next one. So the next rule in effect for 2023 is wheel violation. So you can still get suspended and possibly fined for this, but here's the thing. So crew chiefs will no longer be suspended for loose wheels because it's not really their fault. So a loose wheel beyond pit road will result in a 2-lap penalty and a 2-race suspension for the 2 crew members that are at fault, most likely, for this. So that's what's going to happen. I completely agree with this. It should be more fair, because 4-race suspension, that is crazy on the crew chief, and the crew chief didn't really even do anything, to be honest. He's just up there in the box, and the guys on the crew are the one messing up, and they're like, what the hell? Why am I in trouble? But anyway, this is what's going to happen, because we all knew from last year that with the next gen car only has 1 lug nut, and the slightest mistake could heavily cost the team for weeks. So in 2023, the 4-race suspension rule will be abandoned. Instead, NASCAR has put in place a new structure for detached wheel violations. So if a car loses a wheel on pit road, the team will have to serve a pass-through penalty under green flag conditions. But if the wheel is lost on pit road during a caution period, the team will restart at the end of the field. So if it happens on pit road while everything's going green, you have to do a pass through, but if it's under caution, you have to go back to the end of the field. So if you can see Denny Hamlin on this picture right here, since he technically lost it on pit road under caution, he would have to go to the back of the field. But if a wheel is lost on track during green flag conditions, the team will have to suffer 2-lap penalty, and 2 crew members will be suspended for 2 races. So that's what's going to happen right there. So there goes another rule in place. I completely agree with this. I only agree with it because it reduces from a 4-race suspension to a 2-race suspension, which I think is fair, and I think the 2 crew members who are at fault need to be punished for it, rather than the crew chief, who honestly didn't even do anything. Because when I heard the crew chief had to be suspended at the beginning of last season, I was kind of shocked, thinking like, all right, they're really hefty, but like, what the hell? But anyway, that's what's going to happen. So I agree with this one. Now let's move on to the next rule. Now, the next rule in effect for 2023 is that wet tires will be available for damp conditions at select ovals. And I've been really waiting to hear this, because I'm tired of racing, especially at tracks, not trying to point fingers, Martinsville in the spring, where it rains and then we have to wait till later that night, or have to wait till the next day, which sucks. But then I remember back in 2021, NASCAR did a test. I believe Kyle Larson was a part of that test. That little rain, or not the rain, but the track on Martinsville was a little wet, and they had Kyle Larson test it out with rain tires. So that's actually pretty good, because NASCAR has only purposely driven in the rain at road courses in the years past, and there are only a handful of times that races have been held in rainy conditions in the Cup and Xfinity Series. Although NASCAR inadvertently raced in the rain in the August 2022 Daytona race, and then that went all to hell. But this is a short track, so it's not going to be that bad. So rain racing at Daytona, we of course won't be seen again unless we go back to the Daytona road course. But anyway, NASCAR has decided to expand possible wet weather racing to several tracks that are only 1 mile or less in length. So those tracks would be the Indy IRP for the Truck Series, the Memorial Coliseum if it rains suddenly this Sunday, Martinsville, New Hampshire, North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race, Phoenix for the championship. Well, that'd be crazy. If it rains in Phoenix for the championship, that'd be crazy. Anyway, Richmond and Milwaukee will possibly see races in the rain in the future. That's if it does rain. Because like I said earlier, I remember that Martinsville held in 2021 rain racing tests to see if the expansion was possible, and it is possible. So we'll possibly see the cars on track in wet weather conditions. Makes sense on on 1 mile tracks, but one I'm actually kind of concerned for would be kind of like Phoenix, because it is a faster track than the other 1 mile tracks, and kind of the same thing with maybe Milwaukee and maybe Richmond. Everything else should be fine. And hell no, we're not doing Bristol. The reason NASCAR isn't doing Bristol is because Bristol's high banked, and you could easily slide and slip off of that. I mean, look at the freaking dirt race. Someone easily slipped off the dirt, which is really slick, under caution. But anyway, it's going to be in effect in those tracks. And it was really funny how Phoenix Raceway on Instagram replied to NASCAR saying, rain won't be stopping us. And then I had to chip in and say, it hasn't rained at y'all's track in 7 years. Remember, like 2015? Yeah. So I don't think we'll be seeing any rain at Phoenix, thank goodness. But everything else, possibly. Martinsville is definitely the #1 track. I feel like rain could come into effect. And then also New Hampshire. Oh my God, why did this pull up? I'm trying to record a video. But anyway, those are the tracks that I believe that could see rain. That would probably be Martinsville and New Hampshire. Maybe North Wilkesboro, maybe Milwaukee and IRP. It just depends on the time of year we're racing there and how heavy rain is around that time of the year, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it for wet weather racing for short ovals, which I completely agree with, because I bet NASCAR is just tired of having to postpone the race for a few hours or just wait till the next day, especially for Martinsville, because it's happened, I believe, in the last couple years. So we'll have to wait and see what this will look like for 2023, or if it will happen for 2023. We're not really sure, but this is just something moving forward. Anyway, let's move on to the next rule. Okay, moving on, it is now time to talk about playoff eligibility, which is another new rule for NASCAR in 2023. So, officially today, a driver no longer needs to finish in the top 30 in the Cup Series or top 20 in Xfinity or Truck Series points to be eligible for the playoffs. It's now winning you're in. And, well, it's winning you're in as long as the driver attempts all the races, unless it's like granted a playoff waiver if they're like sick or injured or something like that. Anyway, with this one, I am not a big fan of this one, because top 30, it's really hard to get, especially for a small team. So if you want to race like Daytona, maybe Talladega, or some other track that's wacky, and you somehow get a win and you don't make top 30 in points, I don't think it's fair for you to make the playoffs, because you're not really that good. So this is a rule that I was actually comfortable with, that I thought was fair, but now since they're changing it, I don't think it is fair at all. It's literally like anyone can make it. Like literally, Cody Ware could just go out and win the Daytona 500 and he's automatically in the playoffs. He does not have to be inside the top 30 in points, because I don't even think Cody Ware's ever finished in the top 30 in points. So that's what I'm saying. Because remember, since 2014, NASCAR's playoff system has allowed every driver with the win that's at least 30th in the overall standings to be allowed to compete for a championship in the season's last 10 races. But now, starting this year, the 30th place requirement has been removed, and any driver that competes in a full schedule that secures a win will be added to the playoff roster if 16 or fewer drivers would win a race during the regular season. And also, same thing, like I said, in the Xfinity Series and Truck Series, this requirement's also the same thing for the 20th place or below. So that is an interesting take. I'm not really a big fan of it, because it doesn't really just make the most sense, in my opinion, to have it like that. Because I don't know why they changed it, because it didn't really need to change. This was a rule that was fine, I was comfortable with. But now that they're changing this, it makes the playoff seem even more of a joke, because you're now having drivers who barely even made their way to finish a full season, or barely even made their way to finish a race, somehow get lucky once and they're automatically in. Because in my opinion, I feel like it should probably maybe like top 25 drivers, maybe not top 30, maybe top 25, but I don't know what NASCAR was thinking right here. This is definitely not a good move and stuff, because it's like anyone can now do it. It's a NASCAR Cup Series supposed to be the top level, it's supposed to be the hardest way to get into the playoffs, our hardest way to get to win a championship or get into the championship, make the playoffs, all of that, or even be in the talk of the conversation. But now it's like they're just making it easier. So I don't really like that. NASCAR is supposed to be a challenging sport, especially the Cup Series, but it seems like they're softening. They're starting to go soft a little bit with just eliminating the top 30, top 20 thing in the Cup Series and Truck and Xfinity. So I don't know. I don't really like this rule. This is probably like the #1 rule I don't really like and stuff. So yeah, let's just move on to the next one. Now, here's another rule. NASCAR's rule with the choose cone. Okay, so the choose rule will now be in effect for the super speedway races and the dirt races. So it'll be in effect for all races for the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. This is probably my second least favorite one. Okay, my least favorite one was NASCAR doing like the playoff eligibility. This one's kind of near there, but it's not really as bad. But I still don't really like it because basically what they're doing right here is I don't know why they're doing this. Okay, look, now for Bristol Dirt, it kind of makes sense to do it there and stuff. It's just that Bristol Dirt would probably have single file restarts based off of the 2021 race, but since we're racing at night, I don't really think we have to do single file restarts. We could probably do double file restarts, but I don't know if there's a lot. I don't know if it's like if that's going to cause a lot of crashes, the double file restart. So I'm not really sure. So I can see why they would use it for the dirt race, which I'm okay with. But the super speedways, to me, that's just unnecessary, because if in my picture I see it like this, I don't know why they would just do it at the super speedways, honestly, because most of the field is going to want to like go to the bottom and stuff, so it doesn't really need to be needed. Okay, I don't know why they're doing that, but NASCAR's choose rule was, I remember it was implemented in 2020 and stuff, and I think they first started at Michigan, but now in this year in 2023 they will have it for the super speedways, dirt races, and the road courses. Yeah, that's right. Also, the road courses will have the choose rule. At first, I thought that I thought the choose rule had the road courses. Maybe they didn't. I'm not sure. Now, if they use it for the road courses, that makes sense. Dirt race, kinda. Super speedways, they don't need it. They really don't need it. So we're gonna see the choose rule be full effect for the first super speedway Daytona, first road course at COTA, but I thought they used it at the road course already. I guess not. And then we'll also see it at Bristol Dirt. So another change coming to 2023 is going to be like the restart zone, because I think the zone will be expanded by like 50% for the first 5 races of the season, and after the fifth race at Atlanta, officials will like determine whether or not to keep the expansion. But that's about the restart zones. But this one, I'm not really a big fan of it. I mean, if they're going to use it for the road courses and the dirt race, I can kind of get it, but for the super speedways, it's really unnecessary, in my opinion. And so that will do it for today's video, guys. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We are at 230 subs on this channel. We are 70 away from 300. So guys, keep subscribing, keep sharing, doing all that. I do really appreciate you guys' support. Sorry I haven't really been as active lately. I've just kind of been on decision making. I was really close to going to the Daytona 500 this year, but it has not been able to work out. But in favor of that, the original tracks I was supposed to go to were COTA, the Chicago road course, the Chicago street course, I mean, and then also go to Texas. But now, since I can't go to Daytona, that 4th race will be Nashville, so that should be really cool. So hopefully, it's not really finalized, but those are the tracks I plan on going to. So I plan on going to 4 races, which that would beat my record of 2 races in 2019, so that should be fun. But anyway, that's my future right there. But really, thank you guys so much for your support. It does mean a lot. And sorry I haven't been as active. I'm also not gonna be doing NRR anymore. I'll talk about it later why in the next video when I do my predictions for 2023 season about that, but that's just gonna be how it is because I'm growing up, and I'll explain it in the next video. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this video. What are the rule changes you guys like in this video? What are some of the rule changes that you don't like from this video of that NASCAR has announced? And also, what are some rule changes you guys would have? Also, oh, but wait, before I get to that, I just also want to point out there were also a couple rule changes that I didn't really point out, but they were kind of minor. Anything. The repair clock has changed because NASCAR's damaged vehicle policy will now have 7 minutes, finally 7 minutes to fix a vehicle, because originally it was 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and they made it 10 minutes for the NASCAR playoffs. So officially it will be 7 minutes in 2023. And then another one, pit stall encroachment. Drivers that encroach on other pit stalls when coming into their own pit may receive a penalty. Stalls will be highlighted with orange markings to allow officials to make these calls. This is being done according to NASCAR to limit vehicle interference with crews during pit stops. Okay, so that's going to be a pretty good rule to ensure the safety of those on pit road, so we don't have an incident happen, or a near Ty Gibbs incident hitting Ty Dillon at Texas. Anyway, that's going to be it for that one. Also, what are some rules that you guys would have? Because some rules that I kind of want to happen in NASCAR is probably a weekend structure. Maybe, I don't know, let's say shorten up NASCAR races and stuff. I'm not sure. That's really going to take a few years or a couple years to restructure a race weekend and make the races shorter, because the Truck Series and Xfinity Series, they have it figured out because it's like the younger series. But I don't know, we'll see about that one. And another rule I had in mind was, what was it? Oh yeah, the third rule, I mean not the third rule, but the other rule I was thinking about is maybe returning back to the ovals. It's not really a rule, it's just restructuring. So I want to see weekends restructured, like having shorter schedule, shorter race distance and stuff, and except for like the Coke 600, shorten up the races, the race weekends and stuff, except for like the Crown Jewels. And I was thinking about maybe could we possibly go back to racing at the Indy Oval? But there was an announcement, I believe, like a few days ago, or maybe even a week ago, that NASCAR could return to the Indy Oval pretty soon. Because the Indy Road Course, it's okay and all, it's really crappy. I mean, it's just messy. I mean, the 2022 race, I honestly did not really enjoy that one. The first one was pretty good. The second one was not really that good. It was just too chaotic. So hopefully NASCAR returns to the Indy Oval pretty soon. But other than that, yeah. So let me know what you guys would want. What are some NASCAR rules you guys want to see in effect? And also, which ones do you agree with? Do you agree with what NASCAR? Its playoff eligibility, the Chastain rule, etc., or what are some rules that you don't agree with? Let me know down in the comment section below. But that would do it for today. Please subscribe to the gaming channel. Check out my Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in a couple days with my 2023 predictions video. This is NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out.